All right. Welcome to another segment of Origins. And today I have a special guest with me, Mr. Mwpdave, David Cole, the owner of Midwest Performance. And we're going to have a little chat, man. You know what I'm saying? Dave, thank you for coming on, brother. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? So let's start from the top, man. Let me know a little bit about yourself as far as who is Dave Cole, bro? How did you grow up? How did you get into bikes, just being a gearhead the way that you are?
So basically, my dad, when he was a young boy, grew up somewhat racing go-karts, like for fun. And then when him and my mom had kids, one of his friends was go-karting with his son. And my older sister, I have two older sisters, but my oldest sister kind of like piqued interest in the go-karting thing. And my dad decided he wanted to go go-karting again with his kids. So him and my sister started racing. And then as I got old enough, like 7 or 8, they got me a go-kart. I started racing go-karts. And actually there's pictures over there you'll film later of me as a kid in the go-kart.
No shit.
Yeah, it's on the wall over there.
So your sister was
my sister raced with like Danica Patrick, who was like a very famous,
Really?
Formula 1 racer. Yeah. And they grew, we just traveled and go-kart raced as kids. My dad would take me out of school on Fridays.
Sick,
he would like pick me up from school at like 11 o'clock on Fridays.
That's like Lewis Hamilton
tell them
started.
like I was going. I don't remember what they would tell the school. The school would always ask my parents like, why is he leaving every weekend? So we would go karting when I was young. And then once I turned like 17 or 18, we bought a race car, that orange Nova that we have out there.
Yeah.
And I started drag racing, quarter-mile drag racing. And then I got my license to ride motorcycles, and I bought my first street bike. And then once that happened, that was a wrap. Yeah.
All right.
I just think that, what really got me into the bikes more than the cars was the feeling that, like we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, the feeling.
How hard they accelerate, how fast you get to that speed. I don't know. That piques me. I like that. I like that feeling.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty sick, bro, that like you grew up in like a family orientated, like, racing like that. Bro.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's pretty original. You don't hear that too much. Lewis Hamilton actually started go-karting too.
Yep.
That would have been sick if you would have joined Formula 1.
So funny thing is, when I was go-karting is I did a lot of there was like a Red Bull search where they had like scouts come out.
Oh, really?
We all went to Skip Barber driving school. They scouted all of us. I did all that. But I mean, to really get like full-blown sponsored racing, you have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Invest a lot of money into going racing and doing the Skip Barber thing. There were kids there that's parents told my dad, like, oh yeah, we spent $100,000 this year.
100%. 100%.
So
it takes a lot of bread.
It doesn't happen like with no money.
No.
And I didn't want to make my parents spend money like that.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So, all right, let me ask you this then. All right, so you get into the whole motorcycle thing, right? But before you start getting into the motorcycle thing, right? Like,
this is strictly just riding. I have not tuning or nothing yet.
yeah. How old were you?
When I started really getting heavy into the motorcycle racing, probably 20.
20?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long did you drag racing? Or like quarter mile? What?
So we were riding on the street for like fun, but we were like going to the drag strip and quarter mile racing. Yeah.
Okay.
Dig racing.
Okay. How long did you do that before you started kind of like wanting to like really work on the bikes, and like how long did that process take you?
Probably, I would say 5 or 6 years till I was like, I really want to start doing the stuff myself, maintaining the bikes myself. And then probably like another 5 or 6 years after that, I started tuning.
Really? So
yeah, I really didn't start tuning bikes till 2016, 2017.
So this was like a lifelong like project for you, kind of like it wasn't just like
no, I didn't just decide one day I wanted to do this. I've been into bikes. You can ask my friends. I mean, when I was in high school, I really didn't have friends. I mean, everybody was like going to the bars and partying, and I was just playing with bikes and cars. I was just like misunderstood as a kid in high school. You know what I mean? They didn't really. Where I grew up is like a very like affluent
Oh,
town.
really?
So like those kids, they want to go do like golfing and
Oh, really?
stuff like that. And I was
Okay.
like,
So you
I'm
didn't
gonna go out and
necessarily.
race. I want to go race my motorcycle. We're gonna go street racing this weekend. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
we're going partying.
Yeah.
So like, I really didn't have friends like that
so you
in high
weren't in the
school.
in crowd per se. Like
Right.
you were doing
But
your
if you
own
ask
stuff.
those, like, there's some kids that I ride with out here that ride now that I went to high school with, and they were like, yeah, we knew he was going to do something like this
Oh, no shit.
his whole life. This is like what he's been into since I've known him. So,
I think it adds a lot to a person's character when you know that, like, deep down inside, you're an all-around gearhead. It's not just like a motorcycle thing. You started with cars. You're still into cars. It's just that your sense of
I've
passion,
evolved it,
yeah, came from two wheels at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the motorcycles. I don't think I'll ever stop riding.
Really? That was a question that I had.
I took a break one time, and it was for a year, and I had to get a bike again.
Really?
Later,
That was a question that I had for the guys yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to ask, is if they felt like they were ever going to stop riding. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I don't think I would. I don't know if they would, but I wouldn't.
I don't think I would stop. I think that's it. Just to what capacity I would be roll racing and stuff. That's a different animal, But I think I think I'll always have a bike on deck. You know what I'm saying? But all right. Fast forward in a little bit, right? So you were racing for 5-6 years.
Then I hit that hurdle, the life hurdle.
Yeah. So
what happened there was, I wasn't doing bikes on my own yet, but I was into motorcycles and racing them. And then I started doing drugs and partying, because that's like what everybody where I live was doing. I mean,
so you actually
a lot
did
of my
get into
friends,
that
I lost a lot of friends to heroin. Like, heroin is terrible where I live. Yeah, so I just started doing drugs and getting high and stopped racing, stopped messing with motorcycles, didn't really go mess with cars for probably like 2 years, 3 years, yeah. And then
So let me ask you this.
was miserable.
How did that come about, right? Because like you said, you was always in your own lane doing your own thing. Was it the people that you started hanging out around?
I think it was more so I was working for somebody else, so I just wasn't happy. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to be working for somebody else. I wasn't getting paid good, and I was just miserable, like, all around. At that time, I met this girl that was not a good person, and was into partying, and
that's how you got wrapped up into that.
It just got wrapped up into it, and I just was like a downward spiral. You know what I mean?
Okay. I think this is very important, man.
Yeah.
I think it's very important to talk about, because if there's anything...
I haven't had it easy this entire time. Like, everybody sees I have all these bikes and a dyno and a shop, and it didn't come easy, trust me.
And on a much bigger note, too, I think a lot of people in this realm, in the road racing world, they'll be able to understand where he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? I think that addiction in any realm it's a real thing.
Oh, it is.
Whether it's construction, racing, gambling, like addiction's a real thing. So
we know some of us in this scene got a gambling addiction. I know that.
Yeah. So addiction come in all different facets. So I wanted to talk to Dave about this, because I feel like it's a real thing that people should be aware of in general in this, right? Like, people are not alone in this shit. Like,
I think that's part of the reason why I'm like so much more like giving than a lot of the other guys. Like, I'll help somebody
because of your past.
Yeah, and just because I struggled a lot when I was a kid learning, like with learning disabilities, I had a hard time in school. So like, when people hit me up and want help with the stuff with the bikes, I want to help, because I didn't never get help, and I wanted help,
Yeah.
So I feel like I should reciprocate that now.
Yeah, pay it forward.
Yeah, in a way.
And I mean, so you went through that rough patch, and how did you get out of that? How did you manage to muscle through that part of your life?
Man, it was hard. First I started going to like meetings, which didn't really help. I mean, it did a little bit, and I got kind of sober, but then I started doing drugs again, and it didn't really help. And then I had to go to rehab. I went to like a program.
Okay.
It was like 4 or 6 months long. So I'd come to work. I'd come work for my dad, drive trucks, which was miserable in the winter and in the rain.
Yeah, it sucks.
So I drive all day from like 8 till 5, and then at 6:30 I would leave and I would go downtown, Chicago, go to this program till like 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
And then come home, go to sleep, get up, go to work every day.
How long did you do that for?
I think 4 or 6 months. I think it was 6 months, if I remember right.
And that was your
outpatient.
first step?
It wasn't like intensive inpatient. It was outpatient. I was going home every night. But it was hard. I mean, I didn't get put on any withdrawal medication. Like I was doing opiates. So like, that's like one of the worst drugs to come off of.
Yeah.
Like horrible. And they asked me like, do you want methadone? Do you want Suboxone? I was like, no. Because I still have friends to this day
that are stuck on
it for the rest of their lives. Because
I think that can be counteractive, bro.
It really is counteractive, because now what happens is you're scared because the withdrawal from that's worse than.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to get sick.
So you went cold. Yeah. So you went through it.
I got sick. I mean, I was like, I'm going to get sick. It's going to hurt and make me ever want to do it again. And that's what happened. I got really sick. It really hurt. It really wasn't. It was terrible. It's probably like one of the worst things I've ever had to go through in terms of like being sick and.
Were your parents there?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they knew. My parents knew, yeah.
Yeah. Were they there though?
They didn't know the whole time I was doing drugs, but when I went to rehab, I told them like straight face, like, yeah, I'm addicted to drugs.
Well, at least you had that support, dude.
So yeah, thankfully, because I mean,
not a lot of people have that support, bro. And
like, a lot of these people think that I got all this because what my dad has out there, and that's not the case. I mean, my parents do support me as parents, but like I have to work for the things that I have still. Like everybody thinks I got it all easy and they're just given to me, and it's not. That's really not the case. I mean,
so one thing about that, right? Like you can come right from whether it's money that was handed down from generations or just your parents are wealthy, right? But that doesn't mean that even if you have money handed to you, that you can sustain it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
you have to
10%. Yeah.
You have to be able to put the legwork in to be able to sustain
yourself
and be able to keep having the money rolling.
Of course.
For me, what attracted me to you as a person was the fact that you're here 7 days a week, 10-hour days, whatever is necessary.
I'm doing
to get it done.
That's so my dad is too.
So your commitment is there, and I'm sure you get a lot of that from seeing how the 24-hour business your dad has.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you have to put in that legwork, take the initiative to be able to do all this, bro.
Now, that's not to say my dad hasn't taught me things along the way about business. I mean, that's how I learned how to run this thing like I am. I mean, he's taught me a lot. He knows what a successful business, what it takes. And I've learned from that. I mean, he's definitely been my mentor there. I can say that. But like, in terms of like, this stuff has been just handed to me and given to me? No, definitely not. Not the case.
No, and if you weren't good to some
extent,
they have
two older daughters. What do you think they're giving them everything too?
yeah, facts, man. Kids, the older they get, the more expensive they are, bro. That's just the nature of the beast. So, all right, you started in a different location, correct?
Yeah. So after I got sober and everything, it took probably 2 years before I could really like
get back into it,
get on my feet here. And so I bought. My dad, I was in a different location. Me and my dad were in this like really dirty, dingy location together, sharing the space. And I bought the dyno. I saved money and I bought the dyno. I got a really good deal on that dyno. I got that dyno for, I think, like around 10 grand, which is like nothing for a 250i.
No.
Like guys are selling for 20 now.
No, yeah.
Used.
Super money.
So I jumped on that and then I bought the ZX10 and I just like messed with my own bike, was like just taught myself because nobody really knew who I was at the time, which is like that's a given. I mean, I wasn't relevant. Nobody knew who I came out of nowhere. Evan was already kind of, from EGR Performance was tuning. Nick was tuning. All them guys were like already
getting established.
They had their teeth
in
the scene already and grinding. So I was like a little late to the game there. So I bought the ZX10. I set it up to roll race, put it on the arm and everything, and I just started tuning it myself and learning how to tune it and what worked, didn't work, what felt good. Didn't feel good on the street when I'd ride it, and it just snowballed from there. A lot of people knew that I was building bikes before I started tuning, though. My friends and stuff already knew I had bikes and that I had built them. So then once I started tuning, and they saw that I was doing that, it was just like, all right, I'm going to bring my bike.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
Did it take you a while to build up your clientele, or did you feel like you hit the ground running kind of?
No, that took a long time. My first 2 years in business was slow.
Yeah.
Oh, you can ask Mark. First 2 years, we were like just hanging out there.
No shit.
Nothing to do. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, it was scary. I would say the first 2 years of my business was probably the scariest.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to sustain it. I mean, it was slow, you know? I didn't have enough work to take up the whole day even.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was scary.
What gave you the persistence to want to keep going and not give up?
I think there was a few things. One was I really enjoyed being my own boss, coming and being able to do what I want, per se, you know, make my own hours, et cetera, et cetera. And two, I'm the kind of guy that my whole life people have told me I either can't do something, I won't do it, or it's not going to happen. So when people say that, like, oh, you don't have a fast bike, or you're not going to be able to tune it, it just drives me to like this place where I got to just pound and pound and pound and work and work and work and get good at it. I don't know why. That's what happened with the motor building thing. I wasn't even building motors, 2, 3, 4 years ago, but
that comes from a place of passion and dedication, man.
I just got dedicated, and then people hated, and it made me want to go harder.
Even more.
That's how I am. I mean, that's just my nature. I'll just go harder and harder.
Unfortunately,
till I'm a beast.
Hey, listen. Unfortunately, you are in a business where it's very little camaraderie. Unfortunately, you know what I mean.
100%.
And
I
that's
wish
just
that
the
would
nature of the
change.
beast.
I wish we could all help each other. That's what I like. I try and get that.
It's hard.
I don't know.
It's hard.
I try and get all of us to like be friendly. Like me, Evan, Nick. Like I want to all work together, but it's like it's hard, Be friends with each other and all be able to help each other.
Yeah. I also, that's a very layered thing that I won't even get into here. But I do feel like that in my shortcoming here, everybody goes through different situations in this. Some people just, get a bad taste in their mouth and there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
Other people
get steered in the wrong direction from somebody.
Yeah. And it's honestly like a snowball effect where, this guy got done this way, this guy did this guy wrong here. And,
or someone made a mistake. I mean, mistakes happen. It's part of this game, especially when you're building motors. I'm not talking about just bolting on parts and tuning bikes. That's a whole different realm. When you start getting into building motors, things happen. I mean, it's just...
there's always room for error.
There's room for error, and it can happen. We're not perfect people. Humans were never meant or...
to be perfect.
Bred to be perfect, and we're not perfect, and things do happen, and mistakes happen. And the only way you learn what combinations work and don't work with these engines
if you try
is try them and find out. Because nobody else is going to tell you, and you just have to figure it out on your own.
No, 100%.
And have the right tools. That's the biggest thing.
I think the fact that you were able to muscle through those first 2 years and really believe in yourself.
Well, that's what's kept me going now is I tell myself I made it through the first 2 years, right?
100%. That says a lot about your character, man. That's not for everybody. I don't think that the roll race scene, especially whether you're a tuner or a mechanic, is for the weak. You know what I mean?
It really isn't.
Where there's
you have
so
to have
much
some thick skin, boy.
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
And there's a lot of sensitivity around all this, but that is what it is. But when you're in it and you have a business, protecting your business, protecting your name, it's tough.
But being honest at the same time
goes
not
a long
only
way.
Protecting your business. I mean, people can protect their business and be dishonest and say, "Well, I've never made a mistake," or
100%.
I've made mistakes, plenty of them, in life and in business. It's just part of living.
Yeah, well, accountability, Dave. It's hard. It's hard if you're just someone like myself, right? That is not a mechanic. I don't have a shop. This, that, and the third. It should be easier to take accountability. But if all the shit that you see going around now, right, and people are afraid to hold themselves accountable, imagine how hard it is for most of these shop owners to sit there and hold themselves accountable. Even if they know deep down in their heart.
I think I just got that, though, from being a drug addict, because they tell you to be accountable.
Well, you're supposed to be straight honest, right?
When you're an addict, they tell you to be accountable for yourself. Like, don't blame what you did to yourself or what happened to you on other people, that it was other people's faults, because it's not. It's your own. And the only way you're going to get better is if you help yourself.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Let other people help you. So, I just learned the whole accountability thing through that. I think that, was my saving grace with being like, listen, yeah, I make mistakes. I mean, it happens.
I think holding yourself accountable in life is important,
Yeah.
you know, in order for you to really
Go down the right path and
yeah,
succeed. I mean,
go down the right path and really like get to that level of just understanding who you are, right? Everybody comes from a different background. Everybody struggles with different things. But as a man, right, or even as a human being, man, like holding yourself accountable, like, you know, not letting your ego get the best of you. You know what I'm saying? Don't let what was someone said something to me one time, man, and it always stuck with me. Don't let your emotions supersede your intelligence.
yeah, that's a pretty good one.
You
Or
know,
don't let your ego get the best of you. I like that.
you know, so and a lot of people, man, you know, that's a very hard lesson and a very hard
Yeah, it's
thought
hard.
process to keep, you know,
Or even learn. Yeah.
yeah, and learn. And I mean, I would hope that everybody gets there at some point, you know, but
Be
this
humble.
is a very
Be humble. That's my.
yeah. I mean,
That's my
listen,
motto, be
this is a
humble.
very egotistical thing that we're into here.
Scene. Yeah, it
You
really
know,
is.
it is, you know. So, and it is
It's
what it
ego
is.
driven for sure.
100%. But another question that I had for you, Dave, was you're establishing yourself here. You got a lot of good projects going on. What is the project right now that you are looking forward to the most?
My own stuff or
Your own stuff.
probably that Busa.
The Busa?
Yeah.
Okay. That's top secret, guys.
It's
You know
top
what I'm
secret.
saying? We're gonna have to spin it back
But this
around for
HQ
that.
I'm looking forward to, but it's going to be, you guys are probably going to have to, that's going to be a 2-year thing. 25, I think I'll be out with that because there's a lot I still got to do to it, but it's going to be out. I'm excited to go drag racing again. I mean, I took this Jix route and it kind of like rejuvenated me being like, man, I kind of miss going dig racing a little bit. So I'm definitely going to be dig racing a little more.
Yeah, when I saw that video, when you sent me that video of you whacking it the couple of months back, man, I was like, oh no, this guy's a different animal, man. You know?
It was a good pass, dude. I went 560.
Did you really?
Yeah, to the 8th.
That's pretty sick, man. That's pretty
That's
sick.
pretty fast on the street.
Yeah, that's a solid number.
On roll gearing, 1744 gear on there.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you changed
That's why it was
gear.
like boggy when I launched it. When you saw me let it go, it like wheelied and then it like came down and just like went because it's got long gearing on it. I never changed the gearing because the arm is so far forward. I need to get a longer chain, and we need to put the arm in the back and put like a 47 on this thing.
I thought that
this thing go.
Yeah, I thought that you actually swapped out gearing when you were over there. I was like, he said
that was straight off the trailer from when we were roll racing. Yep. I love that I can do this because I can get down from a roll or get down from a dig, whatever you want.
That's a rarity. I don't know too many people, man, that can do that. You know, Mikey was a dig racer before. My boy Mo, he does both. Cheeky from Black Tux Tuning, he used to do dig racing. Yeah,
Samedi dig races. Samedi,
yeah.
He can throw down.
So that's another thing too that I think really helps you just being an all around rider is having the duality of dig to roll and just understanding how dig racers and grudge racers set up their bikes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because they don't give a fuck, dude. Like those bikes, I can only imagine what they weigh.
Dude, they're light.
You know, so all that, you know,
some
in
of them
conjunction,
guys don't even have subframes.
That's crazy. All that in conjunction, man, it makes for a lethal guy, man, in the roll racing.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So you guys better do your homework out there. Some of you young guys, man, it's not just an overnighted thing. You know, the guys that are the fastest in this, it takes time, man. It takes time.
And a lot of seat time.
You know, it definitely does, man. So the Busa is top priority for you.
That's gonna be crazy jockey's bike right there, boy.
So that's my next thing, right? Because that's like your guy.
That's my jockey.
What do you see in the future for next year for him on his jigsaw?
I think he's definitely gonna be putting in work with it because he's definitely trying to make the bike more efficient.
He's very hungry.
I think he's gonna definitely make some noise with that thing.
Yeah, I think so too, man.
We'll see though. I know for sure on that Busa it's gonna be a hard bike to beat with him on it. I mean,
you guys need to see Crazy Jockey sitting on that Busa. I took a picture of him. It looks like he has no business being on that bike.
Thing swallows him.
But he's in the bubble. You know, he's in the
Oh,
bubble.
he's going to be in the bubble for sure.
100%. You know, so hey, you know, we'll see what happens with him with that. I can't wait to see that.
It's going to have a motor. I'm not going to say what kind of motor, but it's going to have a motor.
Yeah, oh yeah. So my next question to you, and one of the last questions I have, bro, is if you could sit there, right, and dictate how 2025 goes for you, what is something that you wish for yourself for next year?
Race with the big boys. No, I don't know. I would really like to see more traveling happen and hopefully do a little more tuning when I'm out traveling. That's like what I really want to see
tuning?
happen.
Like,
yeah. Like when I go out, I want to be able to, I want to tune more while I'm out. As much as Evan and all of them are going to say I'm crazy because it's like you have to work, you're working the whole time. You don't get to enjoy yourself. But I would like to do tune people's stuff while I'm out more. I did that in Atlanta when we were with Crazy Jockey and Phil.
Yeah.
And that was fun. I mean, I had fun doing it. I enjoyed it.
How was that learning? Did you learn some things from being out there tuning? Or is it just kind of like...
No, I mean, it was just like
just a different
same, it was just being out in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I mean, I street tune out here, so it's like the same thing basically.
Yeah.
We just went out and did the same thing, but it was cool to be out there and doing it on the street while everybody was there with us. I mean, I enjoyed it.
I think it's pretty dope, man, seeing like...
You know, I wasn't out there like, oh, I'm working and this is not fun.
You're in a different atmosphere,
right.
Man. Like it's competitive, you know what I'm saying? So
that's what I liked about it. Was
so
we were racing, we were there racing and it was competitive. I think that's what really like
you want all the bikes that are there repping you to run optimally,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a different vibe. I think, you know, just
I think it'd be cool to bring my trailer too though, with the dyno in it, you know, more places.
I think so. Now you know what I'm saying? Somebody's got to come with another truck to hook that up to, you know what I'm saying? Fuck around.
Bring 3 trailers, 1 for engine building, 1 for dyno tuning.
That'd be sick, man. Host an event, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, just pull up with a dyno, be like, hey, anybody curious? You know what I'm saying? However much for
I want to do something crazy and like come to an event with the motor in pieces and like build it, put it in the bike, get it running in front of everybody there.
That's bold. That's bold. But I'm
thinking about doing it.
But that'd be
my own stuff. It wouldn't be somebody's, you know, in case.
I think
for some unforeseen reason it comes apart. It's my own stuff.
Yeah.
It would be just cool to do. Like, watch this. I'm going to put this whole thing together in 3 days or whatever, and it'll be running on the last day.
So check this out, right? Like in Vegas, man. Like, you know, guys were there like a week in advance, right? But let's say you set up your situation because the guys there with tents the whole 9 yards, right? So let's say you sleep at the spot, and come Saturday morning, you got everything there, your tent, everything situated, and you're just building away. People are going to be walking, wondering what you're doing. That's what I'm saying. I'm actually getting this ready for a shootout for tomorrow.
I mean, it'd be
cool. That's going to
strike
a lot of interest. Like,
I would literally take one of my motors all apart in pieces just to bring it there in pieces to put it back together again.
I think that'd be interesting.
I think it would be cool.
Yeah, like, oh, this guy's fucking crazy.
He's crazy, right?
You know, he's going to...
Shout out to George Cross. I watched him do that in Miami. Remember that?
Oh,
you don't remember that?
Nah, I don't remember that, bro.
Dude, he like blew his transmission up or something in the Busa, and I walk over like 4 hours later, and the whole thing is in pieces. The motor apart, transmission out in the trailer. I'm like, crazy. George, what? He's like, dude, don't worry, I'll be riding it tomorrow. I go to the hotel, we go to sleep. I come back the next morning, they're riding the bike. They stayed there all night.
That's crazy, man. Shout out to George Cross.
That's dedication right there. You know what I'm saying?
That's fucking. That's that like.
Yeah.
You come from like NASCAR fucking racing fucking guys.
There was one time when I want to say it was Boom's Tunes. Something happened and they flew Shane in.
Get out of here.
Florida. Yeah, he got in at like 1 in the morning or 12 or something, and they worked all night, rebuilt the motor in the trailer. Same type of deal like that.
Bro,
next morning, out riding the thing.
Yeah, that's sick, bro.
That's cool. I mean, I think that's really cool, dude.
That's sick, bro. Well, Dave, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens for you next year, man. I think next year is going to be a bright one for you, bro. And,
I hope so. I really
keep your head down, bro, and keep working. And I think
stay humble.
Stay humble, bro. You know, I should make a T-shirt that says "Stay fucking humble."
Yeah, you should.
But nah, man, I appreciate your time, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure we'll be getting up soon. Appreciate you, brother. Streets Cartel. We out of here.